Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I thought I would discuss the working holiday visa for New Zealand. Before I get started, obviously just a quick disclaimer, I'm not really, an immigration expert. Rules and regulations can change from time to time, so I will leave a link in the description for the Immigration New Zealand website so you guys can do your own research just to make sure, the information that you find is accurate and relevant to you. But yeah, if you don't know what a working holiday visa is, basically it's an agreement between countries for young people to work, travel, and just live in a country, generally from about 1 year, or for some countries even 2 years, and now with the UK it's 3 years. I did one myself for Japan and it was definitely a really good time. And yeah, I think if you are eligible, then you should definitely go for it. Especially if you're thinking of coming to New Zealand, I think this is by far the easiest and the cheapest way to move to New Zealand. Yeah, like I said, it's for young people, generally from the ages of 18 to 30, and in some countries it's up to 35. So the age limit is basically when you apply for the visa. So for example, if the age limit is 30 and you apply for the visa when you're 30, you can still enter the country after you turn 30. And the same with the UK, for example, after you turn 35, as long as you get the visa before you turn 36, you can still enter the country. So the visa application is completely online, which I think is amazing, and you can apply from anywhere, so you don't need to be in your home country. And the visa is normally processed in under 2 weeks, which obviously is really good, especially if you don't want to wait too long. Maybe you already left your country and you're traveling and you just want to come to New Zealand. So obviously you will need a valid passport. That's going to be at least 3 months after the visa. So I would say, to be safe, you probably need at least a passport with 2 more years on it. So if your passport is nearing expiry, I'd probably say you need to renew that before you apply. So when I mention other costs, it's all going to be in New Zealand dollars, just for sake of continuity. So you will need 4,200 New Zealand dollars in savings. So obviously that can be in a form of a bank account. Personally, I don't know how strict they are on this, but if you are coming to New Zealand, I'm telling you now, it's not going to be cheap, especially, starting up costs. If you want to buy a car, if you want to, rent, you're going to pay like bonds, deposit, things like that. And you might not get paid until like a few months in. So yeah, I would say 4,200 is a very fair amount to ask for. And I definitely think you shouldn't be coming to New Zealand without that much in savings. You also, of course, have to pay for the visa. So now, as of 2025, the cost is 770 New Zealand dollars. Again, it's a pretty significant cost. Obviously, depending on where you're from, you have to think about how you'll get here. So flight could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000, maybe even more. And then you also need to have medical insurance for the entire time. So again, that is another big cost. Depending on where you come from, you may also have English language requirements. So yeah, basically you just have to prove your level of English. So generally it's like you have to take a certified English language test. And I noticed the requirement actually differs from country to country. So I think if you're coming from China, that's like they have the highest, I think. You also have to be of good health. Again, I don't know the specifics on this. Depending on where you're from, you may have to get a medical exam, you may have to get a chest x-ray, and then you might need a police certificate as well. And yeah, I think that's most of the requirements. So all in all, I think it is a pretty easy visa to get. Of course, it depends on where you come from. So for example, if you're from the UK, Canada, most places in Europe, applications are open all the time and there's no limit. So it's pretty hard to get denied. Whereas if you're from other places like Vietnam, Mexico, so places in South America, I know that they have very strict limits. So it's actually really, really hard because obviously a lot of people want to come and there's only, maybe a few hundred spots every year. So it is very competitive. But in saying that, I think it's definitely possible. I think New Zealand is probably one of the best countries for doing a working holiday visa because the minimum wage is pretty high. As of now, it's $23.50. So even if you are working a minimum wage job, which is literally, anything, you could be working at McDonald's, you could be working at a supermarket, in a restaurant, you will be making at least $23.50. And assuming that you're working full time, I think you'll be able to save comfortably, $1,000 every month, probably even more if you're good with your money. So yeah, on top of that, obviously it's a beautiful country. There's so much nature, and I think if you're just coming, for a couple of weeks, it's really not enough to see the country. and also being quite expensive in order to support yourself and, you know, afford to travel, I think working is probably the best way to do it. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful, and good luck to everyone in your application, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.